Hi friends, it's Sarah from Ruffles and Rain Boots. It's almost a fall day here in Texas. It's only in the upper 80s, so we're making a fall gnome today. I'm using the Scandinavian Sweeties pattern. We're going to make these cute little acorns. Boop! If you'd like to make it, just stick around. As always, please like this video so that I know you're here crafting. So we're going to need some fleece in 2 colors. We also need some kind of cotton fabric. This is from the Dollar Tree. My daughter fell in love with this fabric, so I made 2 projects for her with it so far because this little fox is just the best. Anyway, so I'm matching that fabric with my 2 colors of fleece. I'm also going to pair this with a free booties pattern. You can get that free on the website. I'll put the link below. Some real acorn tops that have been dried and resting. I'm going to make little acorns. I figure I can make them. I actually don't know. I'm going to try to make them with wool roving and some needle felting needles. And then for beards, you can use faux fur or you can use this, which is mohair. I got it on Etsy. I'm going to be using the Scandinavian Sweeties pattern for this. The only pieces you will need are the base, the body, and the hat. I also use the arms and the tie top mittens. So for those of you wondering, I do sell these acrylic patterns. If you are making gnomes this holiday season, oh, for the goodness, it'll just make it a little easier, but you can also just print off the premium pattern like this. Okay. Now everything is detailed in the actual pattern, so I'm not going to do every little step, but I do want to focus on the legs. These are just 3-inch wide by 10-inch long pieces of cotton strips. That's it. Those are your legs. Now you're going to follow the pattern exactly. So you can see here, I'm just going to hot glue this one, but you can sew it with either a 1/8 or 1/4 seam allowance. For the booties, the instructions are included. You just put the right sides together and glue along the outside, leaving the top edge open. I have the mittens here. These are the tie top mittens, so the taller ones. And I also have the arms. So we're just following the pattern for each of those. Now for the legs, all you're going to do is put right sides together and glue that or sew that down. Again, 1/4 to 1/8 or 1/8 to 1/4 seam allowance is fine for both of them. They will turn right side out easily. So I am often asked about why are we doing the cotton this way? It's hard to turn out. It's not. I'm going to show you the trick. You can use either like these needle nose pliers or you can use hemostat scissors. So I haven't unpacked, I guess, my hemostats. I don't know where they are. So we're just going to use these pliers, which are on my desk. So you just grab the end of it and then you just do like this, pull, 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 pull. And again, this is just hot glued. It's not like it's sturdy and it doesn't rip apart. So just go straight down. Now you have a little tube facing the other way. So just repeat that for the pattern. So this is the body. It is still wrong sides out. So we're having right sides together. And I will tell you, you want to roll these up, stick them inside. You will be sticking them into the body. Okay? Watch. One tip here. I designed this pattern. I have made this pattern literally 100 times and I messed this up. So I want to show you, if you do mess it up, you're fine. What you want to do is seam side up on both the body and the legs. You'll notice my seam is down on the body. I messed that up, but I'll show you how to fix it in case you do it as well. All right, so I'm just rolling these up. And again, I'm going to point them in toward each other a little bit so that they flay out when we turn this out. But again, seam side is down if you're working on the front of the body. Seam side is up if you're working on the back of the body. Follow my, what is that stating? Do what I say, not what I do. Okay. So as you can see, I'm just hot gluing these legs in first before assembling the rest of the body. If you are sewing, you will sew up the body per the pattern, add the legs, and then add on the base. Here you can see my base is bright orange, so you could see the contrast, and also because my daughter just loves this. All right, so I recommend 100%, whether you are sewing or gluing, doesn't really matter. You're going to want to use pins. So the reason the body is designed this way, the bottom actually does fit, is because we want that nice bulbous bottom. We don't want to see the stitching on the bottom. We want to see it nice and clean on the bottom, and that's what we will do with this. So if you're sewing, go ahead and stitch it. 1/4 is fine. You can also use 1/8, whatever you're comfortable with. And then if you're gluing, just try and stick about 1/8 away because that glue will spread. I am not using fabric hot glue. If you are selling items like this and you're assembling with hot glue, I recommend it, but I'm not your mom. You can do what you want. All right, so I'm just going to turn out these little tie top mittens and arms as well using the same pliers that are on my desk. If you rub it in between your finger, it sort of lays out that hot glue seam a little bit better. And we'll do the same with the arms. It's really easy to see. Like, even though they're small, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I think I say that too much. All right, for the booties, we're going to do the same thing. Rub the seam in between your fingers. Now, for those of you who are hot gluing, please just leave your whole arm on the desk when you're hot gluing them, and that's how you get those nice rounded booties. All right, so for these, I'm just going to stick these in. There's no stuffing actually needed for these. So you can either tie them up like this and just with a little bit of ribbon or string, or you can do what I'm going to do later, which is just tuck them down. So I'm just turning the hat right side out, and here's the body. See how they just flop right out? I bang it on the table to release aggressions. And at this point, I realize, hey, girl, your seams are on the wrong side because you didn't follow your own advice. Yeah, that was me literally squealing. Oh, no. But it's okay. I will show you how to fix it. So I am going to use just a little less than a cup of, what are these, poly pellets. You can use any weight you want. It helps to bang them so they tamp down into those little nooks and crannies. Now, if you have accidentally swapped it, do this part prior. So you can either hand stitch these on super quick, or you can glue them also super quick. And don't go all the way to the edge of the body yet. We're going to do that in just a bit after we add some stuffing. Speaking of stuffing, you are going to want to stuff the very tip and all the way down into the base of the body. And you want to stuff it so that when you squeeze it, it bounces back to its original shape, because polyfill actually does deteriorate over time. You can hand sew this up. I have shared that many times. You can also add a wire to this body to make a nice posable gnome. I'm just going to hot glue the back of this up and use clips because I'm too lazy to hold it. Just being real with y'all. I don't know if anybody listens all the way to these videos, but I'm a lazy crafter, okay? I'm going to find the easy way to do something. I tend to find a wooden chopstick is a little easier to stuff everything into the legs. And because I used hot glue, I'm just trimming off a little bit of the like stiff part. So my hat sits nice and smooth. So here you can see I have stuffed the leg, and I'm only stuffing to where that point of where the body hits so that I can glue that down right there. The stuffing will get, nice and right up to the body. Okay, so now I'm going to figure out where the bend in my knee is. I'm still going to stuff that portion, but it is not going to be as thick. So just keep that in mind. For the little booties, I like to add just a tiny bit of weight. They should stand up on their own. That's going to let them draw down if you put them on your mantle or on a shelf. You don't have to make the legs very long. You can make them much shorter. After you stuff the booties, you can go ahead and set those aside while we create the rest of the gnome. So when you put this on, you're just going to line the seams up. If your seam is in the front like mine is, because we flipped this bad boy around, don't worry, just put the seam in the middle of the legs in the back. Now I'm going to cover the front of my gnome with this faux fur. I decided not to do the mohair just because I want the legs to be the sort of focus, and that mohair is a beautiful beard. So that's the shape I went with, sort of diamond. I don't know. I wasn't really focused on anything. You can do a U shape, V shape, a dropped U, a dropped V. You can do a rectangle if you want. Whatever makes your heart happy. Glue it down well, though. People tend to tug on that. I'm just going to slide in the little arms here over to the side. Now, because they're long enough, you can actually have them in the front, like holding something, a little fall sign or something. But here's where I make the decision just to tuck these in and just glue them down. Again, I wanted to keep it simple because I wanted the legs to be the star of the show. So I'm just going to use a flat back or a cabochon wood round. It's like a wood bead with no holes and half of it. Then I'm going to glue down the arms first to the body before I glue down the hat in place. So the back always comes first. You're going to want to tug that down just a little bit and tuck it under so we don't have to hem anything. Again, lazy. And then you're going to glue the hat over the arms and to the body. Easy peasy. Okay, so to put the legs on, as you can imagine, we're just going to glue them in. You can sew them. I've also shared on this channel how to use these and make little ties up the front. Super cute. I also have a ton of free patterns on my website, rufflesandrainboots.com. I have a shop, and even the free patterns are in the shop for you. I have a lot of free shoe patterns. I have a full set of shoe patterns. This is actually the gnome body without the legs. But this is the gnome body that has sold more than 100,000 copies. This is a very popular pattern. It's easy to put together. So here's my theory, and I don't know if it's going to work. I've never seen what are these like needle felted acorns, but I'm sure someone has done it before. So I don't have a tutorial other than roll it to get started and stab it. That's about it. Just stab it. I absolutely love needle felting in the colder months. I have made ornaments. I have made coasters. I made like wall hangings. I made a little Viking gnome actually. Anyway, I just love needle felting. You literally get to stab something over and over. And don't worry, you don't stab your finger. I mean, well, you probably do once and then you don't do that again. So I'm just going to assemble these with a little hot glue. I don't know if that's the right glue to use. Again, I'm not a needle felter. I just bought a kit off of Amazon. I repeated it and made 2 of these little acorns so that I can decorate his hat. And to decorate, I just glued them on. Because I also didn't know if I was supposed to sew them on. But hey, I made this about a month and a half ago. So he's working. He's sitting up in my daughter's room next to a little wreath that I made her. Maybe I'll share that video tomorrow or the next day. But that's it for me. I hope you liked this. Be sure to get the acrylic patterns or the premium pattern for this guy down below, along with the free booties. Please like this video and boop, share with your friends.